Greetings, one and all, and welcome to today's interview. And I am privileged to be here interviewing our sister, Elder Angie Amra Anderson. Welcome, Angie, and give thanks for doing this interview with us.
Greetings, Judith, my darling Judith. It's great to see you, honey. Um,
Thank you.
isn't it crazy? We have to go through COVID for chat to each other
That's right.
because people are so busy. But
Yeah.
I give thanks that
For
I've been
this
up.
opportunity. Yeah, absolutely. Because more time, I think we'd be too busy to go, okay, meet at this place, sit
Yeah.
down for an hour and all of this. So this is another kind of inroad, I think, which is a good thing for us still.
So
So,
there are blessings.
yeah, give
Right.
thanks. So now, how did you get involved in dance and what inspired you?
Okay, well, I have to go back to my childhood, and my father and mother used to be what I would call the community hub of St. Paul's, Bristol.
Right.
So when they had things like dance, no, mommy would call it house party, um, otherwise blues, we
Uh-huh.
would all, as children, gather together and dance there, but the whole community is coming. My father used to dance in Jamaica. He was an old-time shuffler dancing. So we
Right.
used to have dancing competitions in the home. From there, it was like our outing to go and take classes at the Bristol West Indian Dance Company. And
Right.
that was run by the amazing Carmen Beckford, and somebody who should be really credited with putting the first steps into my feet is
Mm.
Terry Romaine. I mean, we had so much beautiful experience of doing Caribbean folk dances. And then from that, it was one serendipitous moment where we just walked past a little street in Bristol, in Hepburn Road, and we heard some drums, and it was coming from the Inkworks Art Center, Inkworks Center at that time, which is now Kumba. And we got hooked. We got hooked. I
Who
was
was playing those drums?
Okay, so this is really I feel like a Rosetta Stone when it comes to history. Okay, because you had, of course, the mighty, the almighty Emmanuel
There
Tego.
you go.
So the Emmanuel Tego was my first introduction to drum. We
Right.
had Ben Bado. Now Ben Bado again should be credited with
Yes.
some of the earlier influencers in when it comes to African dance in the UK.
Yes.
Let's go beyond Bristol.
Yeah.
You had some people who's not even here now. There was one
Mm.
drummer named Lati. Lati could play, and
Yeah.
unfortunately he was deported at a certain point. But you had a mixture of drummers, but the dancers at that time was Mercy, Jewel, as people know her as, and they taught. This is really ridiculous. They taught men and women tokwe. Now
Right.
that's a long
Yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. And we all know
I
Tokwe is
won't
a
even
female initiation dance.
right. So you can imagine. So
Yeah.
there was about 24 people sort of popped into this center
So was
from.
that Steel and Skin?
It was definitely Steel and Skin.
Right.
Steel and Skin was the first, I would say, impetus to come to Bristol. But Steel and Skin got a shock because when we're coming home from dance class, but there was about 5 Andersons at the time who was dancing. Were completely. They said, "Well, these people are ready for stage." So within 2 weeks, we were
Yeah.
performing with Steven Skin, going to Belgium, running around the place, and
Right.
finding a new life. So
And getting really excited about it too.
what? Anyway, really ridiculous. When you used to go to school and buy at this tuck shop, you get excited.
Yeah.
You were receiving rewards as well, so you were able to do things.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ekame evolved out of Steel and Skin. It was very, very. I must hold a breath and talk about my brother Barrington Anderson
Right.
because I don't know. I would say a few years younger than Barry. Quite a few. No, not quite a few, but a few years. But he was a very young visionary, an entrepreneur. And where he saw Steel and Skin as a band, which played African high life music, Caribbean folk music, there was 20th century steel pan members with steel pans. Barry was the limbo dancer then.
Right.
We used to be able to limbo under 2 Guinness bottles,
Right.
things like that. So you're talking about, a Guinness bottle
Yeah,
small.
yeah, yeah.
So we added so much to Steel and Skin, as well as Steel and Skin introducing us. So then Barry took the brainwave and said, well, we're in Bristol and we want to continue dance as a per se, and let's develop Ekome. And took all of the leadership's growths and pains and everything else to get this thing on the road.
Right.
When I look back now, Julie, I have to say, wow, he was in his teens, possibly.
Yeah,
Late.
before his time then, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think those days was the perfume what spread across UK was
Yeah.
coming from that bouquet, and that bouquet was Ekome. And it
Right.
continues to spread his little scents everywhere it goes, because we're not dead yet.
That's right. Thank you. So do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing now?
Oh, quite a lot. Various things. Working with a wonderful writer, actor, actress, Amantha Edmead, and in a production called Sold, and it's a Mary Prince story. And the Mary Prince story, as you know, is one of the great abolitionists who's not been talked about because she's an African woman. Okay, so this piece is so deep. Every performance, I get emotional. Every single one. We did how many? We went to Edinburgh Festival, it won an award there. We went to the Vault Festival in Waterloo, it won an award there. It hits hard.
Right.
We're not messing about. We're not saying, oh, I apologize. No. It talks the
Yeah.
truth. So I was brought in as a drummer, chanter, performer, and all sorts within that production. I've also I'm doing my own stuff. Ibashe was my research and development project. Ibashe is a Yoruba words for I pay homage. And I did that last year, hoping to forward it this year, but of course, you know what happened with COVID.
Yeah, yeah.
So that is a production paying homage to our ancestors. And we're talking about not just historic, we're talking about present day ancestors and the legacy which they've left. You know, we know so many people who's gone through that veil, and yet I want to remember their name. So that's Ibashe. I'm also working with a legendary band, which African High Life band, which I can't say no more about.
Yeah.
Really exciting as percussionist. I've run weekly classes at a school in Dalston where I can give feedback to the young people. I'm also a mother of 2 big old people. Yes, my 2 children, Lord. So, yeah, my daughter went to SOAS. I went to SOAS, and she went to SOAS to do her own thing. She's a linguist. There's an artist. That's her artwork at the back.
Yeah.
You know, all them things. My son is a dancer. What do you expect? You know. But he loves his modern stuff, and we combine performances sometimes together. We do African Liberation Day as a family. Them drumming and dance, and me drumming and them dancing.
Yeah.
And we run up and down the country sometimes doing that together.
When I can get home.
So combined with writing the history of that.
Oh yes, you were saying.
So I'm looking at another year maybe to finish or to try and get the right perspective, because you know things have changed.
Yes. Oh yes.
Things have changed. And again, I'm going to go back to Barry a little bit. When in the 80s, Barry actually went forward and bought a cinema for the first Black School of Music and Dance in the UK. This hasn't materialized till today. Right. So the fight is still on to continually see where there is a place for our children to train.
Yes. Yeah.
And so very active.
No, congratulations. I mean, what I want to ask as well, and this is for these aspiring artists, does the work sustain you financially?
Thank goodness I'm a producer. Okay, thank goodness I'm a producer. When I say in that sense, that if the work dries up, I can therefore produce my own work. Yeah. I can go in, put things together, whether it's a couple of workshops, whether it's performance, whether it's, but it's always been a struggle. It's always been a struggle. I'm very fortunate that this is what I do. This is what I do. Even in the resting periods. Okay, this is what I do. But there is a direct need for the right resources to be distributed to those who have knowledge and those who want to impart knowledge to the young, so that we can actually sustain it and directly influence the young African and Caribbean communities.
Give thanks. Tell us, what is your most memorable moment over the years that you've been dancing and performing and playing music?
There are so many, Judith.
I can imagine. That's what Robert said.
So many. I mean, one thing we want to cuss Robert about, right? Robert said that he's not been educated at this.
Look, I could have cussed him on the interview too.
And I hope this part doesn't get edited out. Robert, Norman Stevenson, listen to me. Ekame was the biggest and baddest education you could have ever get.
Yes. And I think Ajido followed that, because we're always training. As artists, working artists, we're always training.
What one can say, there's a division. We have to undo the miseducation of Western education and facilitate an African education.
That's
right. So, Ekame, I'm talking about from the foundation of what really happened in the UK when it came to black dance. So look at myself, sometimes 3 shows a day, running around the country. People who wouldn't look, they think it was a joke. We were changing costumes in the van to keep hitting out shows after shows after shows.
Tell me about it.
there was, going back to the favorite moments, I think many, but I'll try and isolate them. I think I have to give you 3.
Okay.
There was the time when Ekame won Best Dance Company in the UK 2 years straight. And the sort of icing on the cake was Ballet Rumba came second. And then the School of Contemporary Dance came third.
Right.
That was like, what? So that was for us. It was, why? And when I look back, those are the sort of the highlights.
Yeah.
Very, very, very strange award for a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Bao Foundation, which was pleasing because it was
congratulations
lifetime award, and boy, it has been 47 years in the arts. So that was really good. But there's weird ones and there's wonderful ones. We're not talking about alcohol, we're not talking about mainstream Glastonbury, we're not talking about all the other stuff that Ekame did. But there was a point where I went on a research in the diaspora, and I went from Jamaica to Cuba to Haiti. And it was in Haiti where I met a great band called Bookman Experience. And boy, girl, did you see me dance on that stage? And I was invited. So having that coming from the UK, going to Haiti, and when you just shake off everything.
Yes.
You just shake off everything, and having the welcome there as well.
Yeah.
I can go on. Ghana, when I went to the Institute of African Studies, Nigeria, when I met one of the best Bata, 93-year-old Bata dancer, or Catherine Dunham's teacher teaching me one-to-one in Haiti. There's so many points.
Yeah.
But those are
that can go in the long documentary.
Ooh, no, ooh, there's so much more.
Wonderful. Now, before I let you go, I want to ask you, what advice would you give to an aspiring artist, the younger you coming up?
The younger me coming up would say that demand more.
Demand more.
Demand more. There is abundance out there. And we have a right as a people to have our name recognized, have centers, what churn out years after years our artistic forms for our people. We know that it's going to reach the rest of the globe. What our work is is to maintain and sustain our identity and culture within the African diaspora. So I would say to the young person who wants to learn African dance and is not getting facilitated in their institution, they should demand that it's on the curriculum. They should demand that they need to go to Africa paid for by a Western institution in order for them to reconnect to their youth, their roots, and in order for them to express themselves from a very deep cultural making. So I would definitely say demand more.
Right.
Don't settle for less, basically.
Lovely.
Yeah.
I like that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh,
And
Stacey,
yeah.
you just, my total pleasure, darling.
All right.
Absolutely, thank you for putting this together. It's a joy because we have enough things to say.
You're welcome.